I did my first El Camino de Santiago in 2016, and if I would have a chance to go back then and give myself some tips on doing my first El Camino, then these are the first ones that comes into my mind. My name is Artur and you're watching Pilgrim Stories. First one, I would suggest myself to read, listen and watch everything I can about El Camino and what it is. Read about the tradition, read about the experience of other people and what kind of tips and tricks they are sharing, especially on some unwritten rules. Because I think it's very important to be able to read a room and know where you have put yourself in and what is the way, what is the tradition, what is the history. Of course, Camino have its own way how to reveal itself to pilgrims, but it's very good that you already know something about it. But at the same time, and this is the second tip that I would give, is read, listen, watch, inspire, but at the end of the day, listen to yourself. So, for example, if someone says that you must do a Camino this way, or you must buy this kind of equipment, or walk this many kilometers per day or something, you can do that, of course. But if you feel that it's not the right way how to do it for yourself, then don't do it, because your inner voice is the most important thing, how to do it right. But yeah, I would say read and watch and inspire about El Camino as much as you can, because it's very important, like I said in the first tip that I would give. But yeah, at the end of the day, listen to yourself, because that's the right way how to do it. The third tip is that El Camino doesn't have to be an expensive trip to do. It shouldn't have to be expensive. What I mean by that is that you don't have to own expensive hiking gear, a very expensive backpack or boots or whatever. You can actually do that in whatever kind of shoes you want to do that, in whatever kind of backpack you want to do that. As long as you can afford it, you can of course buy expensive gear, but if buying that kind of gear becomes an obstacle to actually do Camino, then it's not the right thing to do, I would say. Because the most important thing about this is to actually get on Camino and actually walk it. That's the most important thing, I would say. So yeah, if you feel that you need very expensive boots and it actually holds you from going to Camino on the time that you wanted to do that, then I would say find a cheaper way how to do it. Buy some outlet shoes or used boots or whatever. Because imagine that El Camino is a very historic pilgrimage, and back then, like even a couple 100 years ago, people didn't have an actual opportunity to buy expensive gear. They were walking in whatever kind of clothes they had, and they still did it. So you can as well. Carry your backpack. The backpack is a very important symbol and very important thing on Camino. It can teach you a lot about yourself, about life. And because of the things and lessons that I have learned from my backpack, I always suggest someone to carry your own backpack. When I was doing my second Camino, I brought with me 2 books that I wanted to read on the way. And when I was walking in Pyrenees, my backpack was killing me. And when I reached the albergue that day, I put it all out on the bunk bed and I was looking all the stuff and trying to figure out how can I make my backpack lighter. At some point I was looking at these 2 books that I had, and one of them was like really thick. And it was like a self-help book. I will not mention the author because it's a really well-known author and book, but it was one of those self-help books. I've read these kind of books before, and not only 1 or 2, but like 3, 4, 5, like a lot of them. And I was looking at this book and it was like really thick. It's very heavy and I couldn't get into reading this book. I was trying, but I always stopped, and I was thinking why, and I realized that it is because I've read so many of these books and they all say the same thing, because the truth is universal, right? But the main thing is not to read these books, but to actually do something with the information in them. Then I realized that I actually don't need these kind of books anymore. So I threw it away. I was listening to myself, taking this very heavy book with me, and someone would suggest me to not do so, but I still did that. I experienced pain because of it, because backpack was really heavy. This book was one of the reasons why. It was a very, very important lesson for me. And this is the reason why I suggest to carry your own backpack, because there are some lessons there that you probably don't know. My next tip would be make a Camino a better place for all of those who will come after you. Camino is a special place, and every pilgrim, every hospitalero, every albergue, everyone who takes a part of Camino in some way is creating this experience for others. If there is any way how I can make Camino better for those who will come after me, even if that means that I need to just keep the tradition alive, respect tradition, respect others, and maybe if someone can find a way how to make it a better place, maybe you can find a way how to keep it in the same quality what you have experienced. Yeah, something to think about. Next tip would be about using your pilgrim's rest well. So when you reach albergue, after taking care of your body and after taking care of your belongings, there are a few hours left till you have to go to sleep. And of course, there are some opportunities to go out with your friends to some kind of restaurant or to chat with someone. But sometimes the most thing that we need is an actual good rest, not only for our body but also for our mind and our soul. If you have been on El Camino or if you have read about El Camino, you probably know that it's a special place and sometimes a bit challenging as well. And to go through these challenges, you have to be ready. Not only your body have to be ready, but also your mind and your soul. That's why Pilgrim's Rest is actually very necessary for us, so we can actually get ready for these kind of challenges. What Pilgrim's Rest means is that you take your time, maybe don't talk with anyone, maybe write something down, reflect on how your day was or how your week was or how your life is, and yeah, get ready for the next challenge or the next lesson that Camino wants to teach you. But again, you do you. This is just a tip that I would give to myself 10 years ago. Camino is not a race. This is actually a tip that I received 10 years ago in my first albergue, where Hospitalero was giving all this knowledge to me and my friends. You have to find your own pace, you have to find your own rhythm, and you don't have to compete with anyone. Not your friends, not the people you don't know, not with the other pilgrims, not even with yourself. Sometimes it is very hard when you stop and take a rest for 10 minutes and you see all the pilgrims passing you by, and it's really hard to just not get up and start to walk together with them. And maybe there is some shortage with beds in albergues, so you start to worry about if you will actually have a bed this day. At some point when Camino is getting busier and busier, it starts to become a race, but it is not a race. So yeah, take your time, find your rhythm, and enjoy your Camino in your own pace. Yeah. Walk alone if you want that and you need that. It's not rude to say to some other pilgrims that you actually want to stay alone and walk alone. Even if you come together with someone, with a friend or a family member, then you can take your time and be with yourself on El Camino if it's necessary, if El Camino actually wants you to have this time with yourself. Sometimes we figure that we want to walk it alone, but actually the thing that we need to experience is other people and the lessons that they can give to us. But yeah, if you feel and if your inner voice is saying that you want to be alone, it's not rude to be alone and keep the distance. It can get tough, but Camino will never try to kill us. When it gets very discomfortable or very tough, I would tell to myself that you have to, again, listen to yourself and figure out if there is a need to stop or if you have to push through. this challenge that you are experiencing at the moment. But still keep in your mind that Camino is not trying to kill you. Maybe the pain and the obstacles that you experience at that moment, maybe it is something that you need to push through, or you probably really need to stop. And again, maybe there is a reason for you to stop. But yeah, for this you have to listen for yourself and your inner voice. The next one is be humble. Accept the discomfort. It's part of Camino and it makes you more humble. I remember that when I was packing my t-shirts, also for my second Camino, the thing that I experienced at some point was that I don't actually care anymore about the color of the t-shirt. All I care is if it keeps me warm, and if I wash it, how quick it can become dry again. Very practical things. El Camino teaches us to be humble. And the last one actually is like a very universal, and just a reminder for all of us, is to respect each other. And being on El Camino, we must respect each other and respect other pilgrims, hospitaleros, shopkeepers, everyone we meet on the way. If you come in albergue and if there is like a bunk bed, and if you're young and strong, then I suggest you to choose the upper bed, because probably there will be some older people that will come into albergue, and usually for older people getting up into upper bed is quite a challenge and not so easy and convenient for them. Maybe not even for the older people as well, but for some pilgrims that have some kind of leg pain, a lot of blisters, and trying to give as much help to others as it is possible. Like, of course, I can't heal blisters, I don't have magical hands, but yeah, if that's the least thing that I can do, yeah, take my bed. And of course, there are some other things as well, like if you come in late after 10 o'clock, which is usually the time when albergues have the silent hour, then really keep it quiet, because maybe someone is having a hard time on El Camino and they're trying to get their pilgrim's rest. And it's not only about the silent hour, but also in the midday when someone is taking a nap. Don't make a noise. If you see that pilgrim is trying to get some well-earned rest, because it was probably a very challenging day for them, be quiet as much as possible, of course. Yeah, that's another way how to respect others, in this case other pilgrims. And these are a bunch of tips that comes into my mind, and these I would actually give to myself. I'm not saying that I was not doing some of them naturally, but these are tips that I remind myself once in a while and whenever I'm doing Camino. I hope this is useful for someone, and if you like this video, press like, press subscribe, and yeah, fellow pilgrims, see you on the way.